My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
I wouldn't want to sleep in between two memoriams for my dead brothers either. I don't blame her.
She spent a
Dawn
summer
and
building
Sanjay.
houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay. My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
Er,
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
it has to get bigger because you won't repurpose rooms.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Little schoolhouse.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Milton. There's no date
After
on
Milton
there.
disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Alright, how the hell are we getting in here? Oh, window. Lovely. Oh, I like this.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
I love all of the artists in this family. It's just life-giving. Making a flip book about making a flip book. Oh, this is where you went. That's all we get for Milton?
I was 4
Because
when
nobody
Milton
knows.
disappeared.
Disappeared? How? Looks like the little boy from Where the Wild Things Are with the crown and oh, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
I'm sorry. What did Milton find in the house? Okay.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Not the fucking cannery. Ugh, I hate this. That view, though. Sorry, is this a ship up in a tree? The hookah.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar.
Mm.
That part of him lived on.
That's what it be smelling like right there. That right there. That's so funny. Legalized. It's legal now, dude. You did that. You did that, dude. You got it legalized.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as
Oh, no.
Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery.
Okay. How do I let go of it? What am I doing? I won't let go of it. Oh, is it because it needs to
But
go
he
that way?
withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Oh god, and then you have to
I
do
asked him
both?
to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Code.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery.
Yeah, around heavy machinery.
I spoke with his boss. But he said Louis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Louis. So I let
Not
him
really
go on.
here.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
To be daydreaming around heavy
He told me
equipment.
he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked
So
about
pretty.
starting a band.
And they lived there too.
And he was
instead of
always
this ugly
humming
canning
something.
factory.
Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannon, but his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination,
Yeah, bud.
so he could do whatever he wished.
Uh-oh.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
He's the only one running!
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Uh-oh.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on.
Cool game.
New Louisville. St. Louis.
St. Louis,
We
very
started
original.
drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go
Minneapolis.
home from the cannery.
Just stayed there.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
It's nice.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Yeah, we like the ladies in this house. Oh, oh, oh. We're sailing astray.
The queen was on her
not
own
easy.
quest for sinister
Doing that because
servants.
it's easier.
He followed the sound of her
Oh.
silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
Living in
And then
this
it struck
fantasy
him.
world.
That the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
I don't want to be chopping salmon either.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Damn.
I began to forget the world we know.
These are all so sad. It's just such horribly depressing stories.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
I mean, this isn't exactly picturesque.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
He's always so happy. Right before.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Oh, fuck.
Bend down his head.
Well then.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Damn it, Sam.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot. On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
A giant thing of packing peanuts.
But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
I see that. Thought the electricity didn't work.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
All right, here we go. It's the last one, guys. Oh, I think you can see her little bump a little. Oh God, little bump. Trauma.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Oh, God. Edie don't want him go.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Not Edie, man.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
Stories don't kill people.
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wondered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Oh god. Oh god, look at the buoy up there. Oh my god.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it,
About Edie
but
thing.
she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it.
I'm gonna keep secrets
I just
now.
want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
No!
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
How did I forget that Edith died? Oh my god. Oh my god, this is heartbreaking. I made it through the whole game without shedding a single tear. And here at the end, oh great, I'm making a mess of things. Oh my word. I don't know what to do with myself now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. No, legitimately, like... Hold on, give me a minute. Ouch. Stop, Lico. No, legitimately, like, a beautiful game. Just ridiculously touching story. And I honestly have never found a game quite like it. And for me, I'm lucky because I have the memory of a fruit fly, and so I can't remember anything if, you know, I've slept. So, yeah, did I forget that Edith died? I was so curious because her arm was broken, because we see the thing in the middle, in the very beginning with the flowers, and the person's hand is like in a cast, and then like the whole time she doesn't have a cast on her hand. Like, well, I hope if nothing else that this has inspired you to maybe play this game on your own. I played it pretty well all the way through, but there might be a couple of things that I missed in there. But I need to emotionally unpack this story, so I'm gonna go. I need to reevaluate my life and all of my life decisions that brought me to this point. I'm kidding, mostly. But thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope you are not as emotionally scarred as I currently am. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. I'm never playing this game ever again. Oh, the end. I'm leaving. Good night. Goodbye. I have to stop. I need